Imagine Africa before borders, a vast living landscape of savannas, rainforests, and mountains. The land stretched endlessly, untamed and wild, shaped only by the forces of nature and the passage of time. There were no lines drawn on maps, no cities or kingdoms, just the pulse of life, echoing through open plains and dense forests. Small communities thrived, deeply attuned to the rhythms of nature and the wisdom of their ancestors. Every day was a dance with the seasons, a careful balance between survival and celebration. People lived in harmony with the land, drawing from it what they needed, and giving back in rituals and respect. History was not written but sung and spoken, passed down by firelight. Around the glow of the evening flames, elders shared stories of creation, of ancestors, of the spirits that watched over them. These tales were the threads that wove communities together, connecting generations through memory and myth. There were no empires, only kinship networks and clans, each adapted to their unique corner of the land. Every group had its own customs, languages, and ways of life, shaped by the environment and the challenges it brought. Bonds of family and clan were the foundation of society, providing strength and identity. People moved by the sun and rivers, their worlds shaped by the reach of their feet and the memory of their elders. Journeys were measured not in miles, but in stories and shared experiences. The landscape itself was a living map, guiding people from one season to the next. Into this world, a quiet revolution was about to begin, not of conquest, but of migration. Change would come not with armies, but with families on the move, seeking new lands and new beginnings. The dawn of a new era was rising, subtle but unstoppable. The Bantu-speaking peoples from a small region in West-Central Africa would set out on a journey that would reshape half a continent. Their story began quietly, with a few families venturing beyond familiar horizons, carrying with them language, skills, and dreams of a better life. Their movement was gradual, driven by curiosity, resilience, and the search for new opportunities. They adapted to new environments, learned from the land, and overcame countless challenges along the way. Each step forward was a leap into the unknown, fueled by hope and determination. They would meet ancient peoples like the San and Pygmies, leading to encounters both peaceful and fraught. These meetings sparked exchanges of knowledge, culture, and sometimes conflict, weaving a complex tapestry of human connection across the continent. The Bantu migration is a story of movement, blending, and transformation, a human drama that still echoes across Africa today. It is a testament to the enduring spirit of exploration, adaptation, and the unbreakable bonds that tie people to land and to each other. Our story begins in the vibrant green crossroads of Nigeria and Cameroon, where the mighty Cross River winds its way through dense forests and fertile valleys. This region, teeming with life, was the cradle of a remarkable human journey. Here, the Proto-Bantu people built their lives in small, close-knit villages. They cultivated yams and oil palms, relying on the rich soil and abundant rainfall to sustain their families. The land provided not just food, but a sense of belonging and security. The Proto-Bantu were not a single tribe but a tapestry of interconnected communities. They shared a common language root, which helped them trade, celebrate, and solve problems together. Their bonds were woven through kinship, marriage, and shared stories. Their culture flourished through oral tradition. Elders passed down wisdom, history, and values through storytelling, music, and song. Drums echoed through the forests, and every generation learned to honor their ancestors and the spirits of the land. Skilled hands shaped clay into pottery, and new farming techniques allowed their villages to thrive. These innovations meant more food, better storage, and stronger communities. As the years passed, the villages grew larger, fields stretched further, and families multiplied. Soon, the once open land became crowded, and the search for new fields and fresh opportunities became urgent. Small family groups, carrying baskets of seeds, handmade tools, and cherished stories, began to journey outward. Each step was a leap of faith, guided by hope and the promise of new beginnings. This gentle but determined push for space and opportunity set in motion one of the greatest migrations in human history. A movement that would ripple across the continent for thousands of years. The Bantu journey began not with a sudden upheaval, but with the quiet, hopeful footsteps of families seeking a better life. Each stride echoing through time, shaping the future of Africa. The Bantu migration was a story of success, of growing families and thriving villages. Over generations, these communities flourished, their homes and fields expanding as children were born and families multiplied. The land, once vast and open, began to fill with the sounds of daily life and the rhythms of agricultural work. Their agricultural lifestyle led to steady population growth, making land scarce over generations. As villages grew, the need for more farmland became urgent. Fields that once provided enough food for a few families now struggled to support the growing numbers. The pressure on resources increased, and the search for new fertile land became a necessity for survival. Families seeking new fields moved outward in small groups, repeating this pattern thousands of times. Each journey was a leap of faith as people left behind familiar homes in hopes of finding better opportunities elsewhere. These migrations were not just about survival, they were about building new lives and creating new communities. Climate change played a role too. The Sahara expanded and rainforests shifted, opening new corridors for movement. As the environment transformed, so did the possibilities for migration. Rivers changed course, grasslands became deserts, and new routes appeared where once there were barriers. Shifting cultivation, clearing, farming, then moving on, required ever more land, fueling the outward push. This method allowed the soil to recover, but it also meant that families were always searching for fresh ground, driving the cycle of movement further and further. This was not a single exodus but countless decisions by ordinary people, generation after generation. Each family weighed their hopes and fears, choosing when to stay and when to move, guided by the wisdom of elders and the dreams of the young. The environment was both a challenge and an opportunity, shaping the routes and rhythms of migration. Rivers, forests, mountains, and swamps all presented obstacles but also offered new resources and possibilities for those willing to adapt. The Bantu were propelled by the promise of new land, better harvests, and a future for their children. Each new settlement was a chance to start again, to build something lasting, and to ensure that the next generation would thrive. Their journey was a slow, relentless wave, transforming the heart of Africa. Over centuries, the landscape was reshaped by their movement, as forests gave way to fields and new villages dotted the horizon. It was the quiet power of growth, adaptation, and hope that set the Bantu in motion, a testament to the enduring spirit of people seeking a better life, and the profound impact of their journey on the history of a continent. The Bantu migration unfolded in two great streams. The eastern stream skirted the Congo rainforest, following rivers to the Great Lakes, where new crops and cattle herding fueled further expansion. The western stream plunged into the heart of the rainforest, adapting farming to dense woods and riverbanks. Both streams eventually emerged into the open savannas of southern Africa, converging over centuries. They crossed rivers, mountains, and deserts, adapting to every new environment. By 500 CE, Bantu-speaking peoples had reached South Africa's shores. This was not a single march, but a tapestry of journeys, each reshaping the land and its peoples. The continent was transformed, village by village, generation by generation. The Bantu carried more than hope, they brought technology. Ironworking, mastered early in their journey, revolutionized farming and hunting. Iron axes and hoes cleared forests and tilled soil, while iron weapons offered protection and power. Blacksmiths became central figures, blending practical skill with spiritual significance. Their toolkit included yams, oil palms, millet, sorghum, and later cattle, adapting their agriculture to every new land. This synergy of iron and farming fueled population growth and settlement. Villages became centers of innovation, supporting complex societies and vibrant cultures. The Bantu didn't just move, they brought a blueprint for a new way of life. Their expansion was powered by knowledge, adaptability, and the tools they forged. The Bantu migration's most enduring legacy is language. Over centuries, their Proto-Bantu tongue branched into over 500 languages, spoken by hundreds of millions today. Languages like Swahili, Zulu, and Shona trace their roots to this ancient journey. With language came culture, kinship, ancestor reverence, music, and storytelling. Pottery, ironwork, and woodcarving flourished, blending with local traditions to create new art forms. The spread was not forced but organic. Bantu communities became cultural anchors across vast regions. Their beliefs, crafts, and social structures shaped the societies they built and encountered. The migration was a grand diffusion of ideas, art, and identity. Africa's cultural landscape today is a living map of this ancient movement. The lands the Bantu entered were home to ancient hunter-gatherers like the San and Pygmies. Early encounters often meant trade and cooperation, grain for wild honey, iron for local knowledge. Intermarriage and cultural exchange left lasting marks, even in language. But as Bantu populations grew, competition for land intensified. Forests were cleared, savannas fenced, and hunter-gatherers were pushed to the margins. Some were absorbed, adopting Bantu language and customs. Others retreated to remote forests and deserts. The transformation was profound. Agriculture and iron reshaped the human geography of Africa. The story is one of blending and displacement, of new ways overtaking the old. The echoes of these encounters still shape Africa's diversity today. The Bantu migration was as much about meeting as moving, changing all who took part. The Bantu migration is the foundation of modern sub-Saharan Africa. Most people from the equator to the southern tip share Bantu ancestry, transcending today's borders. The migration gave rise to new societies, chiefdoms and kingdoms, like Congo, Great Zimbabwe and the Zulu. Ironworking and agriculture became the economic backbone of the continent. Cattle, introduced by the Bantu, remain a symbol of wealth and status. Trade routes established by these early communities set the stage for Africa's later connections to the world. The Bantu story is one of agency, innovation, and resilience, countering old myths of a historyless continent. Understanding this migration reveals a dynamic, complex African past. It is a shared heritage, a testament to the enduring power of language, culture, and human spirit. Look across Africa today and you see the living legacy of the Bantu migration. Languages, customs, and rhythms of daily life all echo that ancient journey. The Bantu story is not just history, it's identity, unity, and a sense of belonging for millions. It explains the deep similarities across diverse peoples and the roots of modern societies. This migration shaped economies, relationships, and even the political landscape. It's a story of adaptation, innovation, and the unstoppable current of human life. Cultures are not static. They flow, change, and grow just as the Bantu did. The journey continues in the lives of their descendants, shaping Africa's future. The Bantu migration is a reminder. Our past is alive in us, guiding the path ahead.